So I was sitting on my shitter late last night and my mind wandered to Disney, as it often does during times like those, and I thought about all the popular franchises the House of Mouse has absorbed over the years, like Star Wars, Marvel, and Indiana Jones, and how they've slowly but surely began dismantling, degrading, and in some cases, outright destroying them.
Power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
And so is the case now with Alien Earth, a show I actually defended after the first two episodes, something I quickly regretted the following week when all the familiar hallmarks of Disney writing were on full display. Tell me, do you want to watch something with the alien name slapped on it that's all about an insufferable one-dimensional girl boss, petty corporate politics, and enough low-functioning idiots making the most contrived, unnatural decisions ever made in the franchise?
That is one big pile of shit.
Well, if you do, I'm sure you're loving Alien Earth, but for the folks like myself, we just finished episode 6 and we're left with one simple thought.
What the hell is even that?
Alien Earth, episode 6. Let's talk about it.
Say what again? Say what again? Say what again? Say what again?
I'm just gonna put this out there front and center. Okay, the writers of this show are fucking idiots, and they think we all are too. Why do I say that exactly? Well, not only were we required to suspend our beliefs during episode 5, which had characters making decisions so stupid that they made LucasArts' choice to hire Kathleen Kennedy look like an absolute stroke of brilliance. But we had to turn around and do the exact same shit this week for episode 6. Also, real quick, I want to say I appreciate everyone for coming out and expressing your thoughts on Alien Earth. The last 2 episode breakdowns have accumulated over 700 comments and shows just how passionate y'all are about the Alien franchise. Oh, and if you're new around here, we encourage discussion on this channel, so feel free to leave your thoughts down below. I don't believe in holding or deleting comments, even if you disagree with me. And I respond to everyone.
Well, all right then.
So this episode opens up with Shitty Haircut sitting down in the research lab doing her alien thing to a kid xenomorph that has such terrible CGI it looks like it was made out of a bunch of melted G.I. Joes. That's not important though. What is important right now is Nib's continued struggle with what happened on the Maginot to the point she thinks she's pregnant, which is something that carried over from episode 4. Why does she think she's pregnant? No clue actually. Anyway, in order to fix this, bearded husband and the lady from the Babadook decide to wipe her memory.
Right.
Now, bearded husband disagrees with this, so bald guy fires him for insubordination and gives him until the end of the day to get his shit and get out. Does bald guy revoke his access to company computers in order to prevent security breaches and protect company assets? Does he assign someone to escort him around to make sure he doesn't sabotage Prodigy in any way? Nope, just don't worry about it, okay? And what do you know? He ends up helping Shitty Haircut's brother by giving him access codes to the boats leading to the mainland and disabling all of the sense tracking devices. Absolutely brilliant, guys.
Are you retarded?
So Nibs wakes up from her memory wipe only to be greeted by Shitty Haircut and questioned about the meltdown she had before. Wait, hang on. Why isn't she being monitored by someone on the team to make sure the wipe was successful? Why weren't the other synths told about said wipe, so they didn't bring up past events and confuse Nibs, which could possibly unravel the wipe altogether and cause even more problems? Just don't worry about it. Now, I will say that the Weyland-Yutani arbitration meeting was pretty well acted. Despite Discount Timothy Chalamet being written as a selfish, belligerent, cartoonish asshole, Samuel Blinken does well with the material he's given, which isn't much, mind you. They had him put his bare feet up on the meeting desk as a sign of defiance and then had him crawling across on all fours moments later. For reasons, I guess.
You serious?
But what I really enjoyed was the back and forth between Kirsch and Morrow in the elevator, with each man trying to one-up the other by calling out their flaws and insecurities. As a matter of fact, this 2-minute scene had more charisma and screen presence in it than the entirety of the rest of the show, combined.
He's out of line, but he's right.
However, all of that comes crashing down moments later when Kirsch asks Isaac, one of the children in an adult body, to go check in on the highly volatile, highly threatening specimens from the ship by himself.
Not a great plan.
There's just no way that could go wrong, right? Except it does go wrong, because one of the food doors gets stuck, prompting Isaac to rip it off the hinges so the rest of the scene can happen. Now, what would you do in this situation? Would you report that the door malfunctioned and you can't feed that particular specimen until help arrives? Would you maybe crack the door open ever so slightly, just enough to squeeze the food in there before closing it again? Hell, maybe you'd even use something in the lab to hold the door open while you do all of that. Well, Isaac does neither of those things because he decides to stick his whole body in the containment room, holding the door with just his foot, gets scared by the asshole eyeball octopus, subsequently locking himself inside, and he dies to mutant beetle spit.
Really?
What the fuck even is this show, man? How did any of that make any sense? Just don't worry about it. Now, remember when I said Bearded Husband disabled the tracking devices on all the synths earlier using access codes he totally shouldn't have anymore if Prodigy wasn't ran by absolute fucking retards? Yeah, well, that's actually happening simultaneously while Isaac is in the research lab. So when Isaac dies, Bearded Husband sees his tracker go offline completely, which leads him to the lab to see what happened.
Not a great plan.
Slightly, who's still being blackmailed by Moro to sabotage Prodigy, meets him there, and while Bearded Husband is trying to drag Isaac's body away from the mutant beetles, he releases the locks on the facehuggers. Now, this moment of deception and service to self-preservation did fall in line with other events in the Alien franchise, but naturally, when Disney gets something right, they immediately get something else wrong.
Fuck.
There's something noticeably missing here. Security. Prodigy is a multi-billion-dollar company with its own private army that we've seen in multiple episodes now, so do you mean to tell me that nobody was watching the security cameras while all of this shit was going down? There were no alerts, no alarms, no security guards roaming the area. Just fuck off with this nonsense show. You know, at this rate, I don't think there's gonna be a season 2 of Alien Earth. We're over halfway through season 1. Disney and FX have been oddly silent about the show's viewership since the premiere, and if the online discourse tells us anything, the current viewership is probably not that great. Shit, now that I'm sitting there thinking about it, even the premiere didn't do too well, considering it was outpaced by Agatha All Along and the cinematic abomination that is The Acolyte. Oh well, let's just go ahead and get the great plot ready in the destroyed franchise cemetery in Disney's backyard that's growing more and more as the years go by. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for checking out my review. I'll talk to y'all later.